The first deaths did not come with warning. People who had shared drinks hours earlier began collapsing, some losing vision, others slipping into unconsciousness. By the time word spread that something was wrong, bodies were already arriving at the hospitals. What they had in common was not a location or an illness, but a drink. Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden.
Wow. Okay. And so they weren't all in the same location, but they all had the same drink, is basically what you're saying there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is very interesting. I can't wait to get into it. But first of all, I will welcome everyone to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the dark, disgusting, and the disgraceful in our mentionables. That's right. We've slipped into something more comfortable. Have a drink in hand, listener. Hope you are doing the same. Welcome. My name is Amanda Kamada.
Cheers, I'm Blake Roberts.
Alcohol has fueled celebration for centuries, but it has also ignited obsession, greed, and violence. This is our limited series, Lush, exploring the true crime stories where excess becomes the catalyst for betrayal, ruin, and murder. And I think that tonight must have something to do with excess of some sort.
Indeed, you're right, Amanda.
All
Let me
right.
share my sources because if I don't share them now, I will not remember later
Okay.
as the story goes. So I've got four sources. One is The Guardian, but it's like theguardian.ng. More on that in a second. africahealth.com, the national online ng.net, and then ogogoro.co.
Okay.
So,
None of these of which I've ever heard of.
yes.
Yes.
So this story takes place mostly in Nigeria,
Okay.
and I'll give my reasons at the very end. But I just thought it was an interesting story.
Okay.
So palm wine, fermented palm nectar, is the base spirit distilled to produce ogogoro. Ogogoro is a locally distilled gin. So it goes through a distillation process that makes it very similar to like a traditional gin.
But it starts
Uh,
out as wine? Palm wine?
palm wine. Yeah.
Okay. Never
So
heard of it.
palm wine is essentially, it's from what I was reading, it's like one of the oldest forms of alcohol that apparently existed even before mankind, if you follow evolution.
Mhm.
There was some type of mammal that would drink this in the evening as it would like ferment from the tree.
Okay.
And it's just, I don't know, interesting. But because it's a palm wine, it was a lower alcohol content, right? So it goes through a distillation process to produce ogogoro, and then it becomes more like a gin, which is what I'm drinking tonight. Gin, not ogogoro. So ogogoro is a locally distilled gin widely consumed across southern Nigeria, valued for its affordability and long-standing cultural presence. While the exact origins of ogogoro distillation in West Africa are unclear, some historians believe its roots can be traced to the 1920s. They say that the technique was likely introduced by a young man named James Eso, who traveled to the United States for work, learned distillation methods from alcohol traffickers, and brought that knowledge back to Nigeria. From there, the practice spread through local communities across the region. And it's a process that, from what I could gather, is largely produced by households, sort of like moonshine or like a bathtub gin.
I was just thinking of bathtub gin.
Yeah, so they would make it locally and sell it or make it to drink it, right? In June 2015, however, batches of ogogoro circulating in parts of southern Nigeria became lethal. The first cluster of deaths was reported in communities across Ondo and Rivers, both are coastal states on the Gulf of Guinea. So it's like if you look at a map, you know how Africa is shaped, it's sort of like an upside down triangle, and the one side is sort of scooped out.
Right.
It's in that scooped out part, like the Gulf
Gotcha.
of Guinea. So that's where we are this evening, Amanda. Victims presented similar symptoms shortly after drinking the spirit: vomiting, abdominal pain, blurred vision, dizziness, and rapid loss of consciousness. Which all just sounds like they drank too much.
Yeah, yeah. But how much did they drink too? So was it that they hadn't drank very much of it and this started happening?
There wasn't one consistent story, and I think it depends on your body type,
Right.
your internal chemistry, but it doesn't take much. So some were found dead in their homes. Others deteriorated quickly after arriving at medical facilities.
Wow.
Doctors at Bonny General Hospital, which is in Rivers State, identified the pattern as consistent with methanol poisoning. Methanol is a toxic alcohol sometimes introduced into illicit spirits, either through contamination or deliberate adulteration. While methanol itself is not immediately harmful, the body metabolizes it into formic acid, a compound that attacks the nervous system and vital organs. Hospital staff reported that many patients arrived too late for treatment. Some were already in comas, others suffered convulsions before dying. 18 people were recorded dead in Ondo State, and in River State, 66 deaths were linked to contaminated locally brewed spirits.
Wow.
Laboratory testing of seized Ogogoro samples revealed dangerously high levels of methanol, confirming the cause of death. So, methanol is a type of alcohol, as I'm sure you know, that looks and smells similar to ethanol, the alcohol found in beer, wine, and spirits. But methanol is toxic to humans. When methanol is consumed, it's not immediately dangerous on its own. The danger begins when the body processes it. In the liver, methanol is metabolized into formaldehyde.
What? So you are literally pickling your liver. They always say I pickled it's like a saying, I pickled my
Yeah.
liver or whatever. Oh my
So
God.
that's just the first stage, because then it turns from formaldehyde into formic acid, a substance that interferes with the body's ability to produce energy at the cellular level. As formic acid builds up, it causes metabolic acidosis, a condition in which the blood becomes dangerously acidic. So your blood's
Like
turning into
acid.
acid.
Oh my God, that sounds so painful.
Yeah, it sounds horrifying. This disrupts vital organ function, particularly in the brain, eyes, and kidneys. Common symptoms, I've already listed some of these, but headache and dizziness, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain, blurred or snowy vision, rapid breathing, confusion, or loss of consciousness. Symptoms often appear 6 to 24 hours after ingestion, which can delay diagnosis and treatment. Because also, if you do consume a large amount, probably your immediate thought and others around you is just, oh, you drank too much.
Right.
It's just like, it's just your standard alcohol poisoning, is all. So because of that, many victims don't seek medical help early. And without treatment, formic acid continues to accumulate, leading to organ failure and death. So there is treatments, and early treatment can be life-saving. Obviously, medical interventions may include antidotes that block methanol metabolism, intravenous fluids to correct acidosis, and hemodialysis to remove methanol and formic acid from the blood. Prompt hospital care significantly improves survival outcomes, obviously.
Hmm.
Ogogoro's dangerous reputation comes largely from deliberate methanol adulteration, not from the spirit itself. So, Ogogoro is not the problem here. It's how it's being made in some instances.
Hmm.
Safer production methods include lower fermentation temperatures and avoiding wood yeast, which basically turn it into methanol. Nigeria's Food and Drug Regulator, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, or NAFDAC, issued a nationwide warning and ordered the seizure of unregistered alcoholic beverages. Despite the growing death toll, some residents initially resisted official warnings because, of course, they had known about Ogogoro for decades and had been drinking it for all this time. So they're sort of like
Hmm.
shrugging it off, right? Like, I don't really think that's the issue. Public health authorities stress that early medical intervention is critical in cases of methanol poisoning. With prompt treatment, survival is possible. Without it, deterioration can be swift and irreversible. Like I said, 6 to 24 hours. By the time the outbreak, that's what they were referring to it as an outbreak. By the
Mhm.
time it subsided, dozens were dead, and the scale of crisis had become clear. What began as a routine drink had become a silent vector, one that moved through communities before its danger was fully understood. The Ogogoro poisonings exposed a lethal vulnerability in the unregulated alcohol trade, one that unfolded not through violence or spectacle, but through familiarity and through delay, right? Just not responding quick enough to the symptoms. So this issue is not exclusive to Nigeria. I could have just as easily done the same story on moonshine in the southern USA.
You know, I was gonna say that similar things like this have happened, I know, in the Dominican Republic with,
Mhm,
homemade rum and stuff like that, and I don't know if you recall a few years back when there were a lot of people dying in the Dominican Republic from drinking at, like,
mm,
some major tourist, locations and stuff like that, and what they think happened was that they were taking, like, bottles and of like that say Absolute or something like that, and then putting another vodka in that had been homemade and was full of ethanol, or excuse me, methanol. Is
mhm,
methanol is the one that
right.
is dangerous, and that people were dying that way. But this, I know that these types of outbreaks have happened in the Dominican Republic in recent years.
Yeah, it's and actually how I found this story was I was trying to find something on moonshine, and somehow I stumbled into Ogogoro, and I really just chose this story because I never heard of this alcohol before, and the
Mhm.
history with the palm wine was interesting to me. Um, and also I just didn't know much about this area, and so it's sort of fascinating to read about like local customs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could have happened anywhere. And really, more than a story about this thing that happened in southern Nigeria, it's more of a story about like cost, consumerism, like consumer behavior and regulation. Because if you look, like the common thread, like moonshine and ogogoro, and probably in the DR, if you look at those communities, they're lower income
Yes.
communities, like like high poverty,
Yep.
and you're not going to the liquor store and buying a bottle of Absolute, right?
No, you're going to your local Comado, as it were, in the Dominican Republic and buying some no label, off the shelf sort of thing that maybe somebody is selling, in not a great area of the city.
Yeah. So there's a number of issues here because how do you combat it? Like you can't you can't outlaw a Gogoro because then it really goes under the radar then.
Right.
And then that's where you really have issues, and that's where like organized crime comes in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really through regulation, and I don't know, there's something on like the big brand side. I don't know, there's got to be another way to do it.
Because
But
I'm sure that there is a Goro that is packaged properly, like gin in the US.
mhm,
Like, I mean, they even do moonshine now in certain states in the US that is legally produced.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I saw in my Google searches, I saw bottles of Ogogoro that were like had like designed labels and stuff. So I'm sure, yes, there are probably some like distilled palm spirits out there that are regulated,
I wonder
and they
what it
probably
tastes
are.
like. I wonder if it tastes like our gin, or if it tastes a little bit different because it's made from like a palm wine. I don't know any. This is the first time that I've ever heard of palm wine.
Hmm.
Wonder if that's the type of wine that Jesus had. Palm wine.
Maybe,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Actually, I didn't think about that, but probably so.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know
I
that they
think
had like sprawling vineyards in Israel.
right.
Maybe
Yeah,
they did. I don't know. But I know they have palm trees there.
and I know the type of palm trees that they are like extracting the nectar from is it's like a raffia palm. It's like a
Mhm.
specific type of palm tree.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, I kind of want to taste palm wine.
Did they ever identify the source of where it came from in this, like, specific or was it just a cluster of different distributors who, or not real distributors, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, but someone who distributed it to different groups? Maybe it was one person, or was it like a collective?
I mean, I would guess it was at least two because the two different states where it occurred are separated by another state. So I would assume that Ondo State was its own thing with 18
Yeah,
deaths.
yeah.
The other one was 66. I don't know. I mean, because it's been part of their culture over there for so long, Ogogoro, the fact that it just happened all at once kind of makes me think maybe it was one. I
Hmm.
couldn't find there's not a whole lot of documentation
That doesn't surprise me.
on the who or how,
Right.
right? So I couldn't find too much, but I would guess it probably was like one big batch that was bad.
Got
That
distributed to certain areas, and then everyone died.
yeah,
Or not everyone, but a lot of people died, but
enough.
that certainly sounds like a horrible death. But, I mean, there have been times when I've been out drinking where my constitution just isn't in the right frame of being to accept alcohol that night. And for some reason, like if I take 2 shots of something, or, I would be fine one night, but then the other night it might make me sick. And
Right.
I can see how people would delay going to the hospital or wherever they could to get urgent care for this particular brand of poisoning, because you might just think like, oh, I'm just having an off night, I'm not feeling well, I took 2 shots and I'm not, it didn't go down so hot.
Yeah. And especially if you're throwing up or something, because that's just sort of like a, oh my God, I'm throwing up. This never happens. I better go to the hospital. It's like, no, I'm
Right.
throwing up because I drank too much and I don't want to leave my house or my bathroom right now.
Yeah, because
I'll wait until
I
it
was
passes.
an idiot and just drank too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, that is the story of Ogogoro and the methanol poisonings.
Well, I would like to try it, but I would be very careful about where it came from for sure. Is it sold here in the United States at all?
Let me see.
Surely there's somewhere who's bringing a drink from another country and distilling it somehow. But maybe not if it's like if it's considered like a moonshine or a class whatever brand of alcohol or something like that, it might be not it might not be legal to brew it here or
Oh,
distill it.
yeah, I just Googled it and it says while traditionally and formally produced Ogogoro is not widely or legally available in the USA, a premium commercially bottled version named Pedro's Premium Ogogoro is planned for release in New York City.
Of course, New York will try it first.
Right. Oh, that news is from 2022 though, so I don't know if that actually happened.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, I'm curious about it. I do love gin. I'm guessing it's sort of like a herbaceous or you know what I mean, it's like botanical sort of a thing. Very
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
yeah. Well,
Interesting.
cheers to a Gogoro.
Cheers
The
to a
same.
go-go, unless it kills you.
Yeah. Well, what are you imbibing on this evening?
I am drinking a super fresh buddy THC elixir. It's very refreshing. It kind of tastes like a vodka soda, but it's not. It tastes like a flavored soda water
Hmm.
with THC in it. And then I took a gummy as well, just for good measure.
Well, you've got that early flight tomorrow, so you're gonna have a good night's sleep tonight.
I do have an early flight tomorrow. I probably am going to leave my house around 3:30 tomorrow morning,
Ew, that's
which
gross.
it's just gross, but I'll be happy when I get there though, early, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't waste my entire day traveling. I kind of like to get the first flight out and then, you know,
Same.
kind of get there, be done with it, that sort of thing, rather than sitting at my apartment all day waiting for a flight.
Yeah, I always just get anxious before travel anyway, so I kind of
Mhm.
like I shouldn't say I like it, but for me, one of the benefits of an early flight like that is I I'm so tired that I don't really have time to get anxious.
Right, right.
So yeah, you just get there and get it done.
Now, the flip side of this is that there are no facilities open whenever you go to the airport this early in the morning,
Yeah.
so there are no drinks. I mean, well, I would drink something at 4 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I would before
Yeah.
I got on a plane. If they had the
Bloody Mary.
24-hour bar open, I definitely
Hmm.
would drink something at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not a good flyer, you know? Like, I always get really anxious when I fly, and I normally will take a Xanax or something just to get me through it, but it always is nice to have a glass of wine or 2 before I get on a plane.
Yeah. I always enjoy that too. Or and you can always do a Bloody Mary on the flight.
True, true. Once you're on that plane, I know there are bottles of alcohol.
Exactly. You're taken care of.
Yes, yes. What do you have going on this weekend? Anything fun?
Do I? I have
You're like,
no
"I don't
idea.
know that I do."
I'm just work is just gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah,
That's my goal is just to get through the
just get
week.
through the week and then figure out what the weekend holds. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be really cold in Miami this weekend. It's supposed to get down to like 40 something tonight, which is very cold for Miami. And I think the high tomorrow is only going to be like in the 50s or something like that. And it's supposed to be that way during the weekend as well.
Yeah, it's gorgeous here. We have the windows open. It's 77 degrees here in Phoenix right now. But
Beautiful.
I mean, you know how it is in the desert though. Our lows do get into the 40s
Hmm.
and then our highs are in the 70s. So you just have
Yeah.
to wait for that time of day to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it does get a little chilly in the evenings.
It does. Chilly Willy.
Yes.
Well, I know you're traveling. I also
Yes.
know you have your next story ready. Do you want to share anything? Any little hints or teasers for our audience?
Sure. I can share a teaser. Um, car, senator, drowning.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
I have no guesses.
All right. Well, I mean, let's hope I can remember those and recount them when we tape our next show and
Yes.
very shortly,
Yeah.
since we're gonna be doing that this evening. But
Double
in the
header.
meantime, yes, do you want me to tell the listeners where they can continue to listen and watch us?
Do
You
it.
can do so right here. Stay with us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music. We are at The Forbidden Pod. Follow us on the social sphere, Facebook and Instagram at the Forbidden Pod. You can also look if you like what you're hearing right now and you want to go back and hear some old episodes, particularly ones that we don't have on YouTube, because we started doing that about a year and a half ago. There are earlier episodes, including a Lush episodes on www.theforbiddenpod.com. I almost got tongue twisted there. And send us your nudes and ideas to hello at theforbiddenpod.com.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Amanda, for listening this evening.
Thank you for telling this wonderful story.
Of course.
And listeners, as always, we thank
Thank you.
you.